our identities are given by our gender, our class, our school, our families, our nationalities, our geographic location, our ethnicities, our religions. We're all the bearers of many identities. And I think that identity politics goes badly when people focus on just one, an identity that's a source of grievance, forgetting that they have other identities that they share with those against whom they may have grievances, that they share with their interlocutors, that they share with those whom they might perceive as their political opponents. Well, I think it's important that we bring our identities and our particularities to bear on our political lives, since they are the source of our convictions, and help to explain them. On the other hand, it's important to remember that there's one big identity that we share with all our fellow citizens, and that is the identity of being an American. And whatever we may say on the basis of the identities that divide us, we also have to speak in terms that resonate with everybody who shares the national identity that is ours. Since the earliest days of philosophy, some philosophers have been drawn to cosmopolitanism, to the idea that the dominant identity that we have is as members of the human race. And as members of the human race, we have the same obligations to absolutely everyone. The obligations we have to one are the obligations that we have to all, and that we don't stand in any special relationship to those with whom we happen to share a political society. But our duties, obligations, rights and liberties that we get should be extended to absolutely everybody. It's a very attractive idea. It does respond to, I think, a deep truth, which is that we're all human beings, that there are certain natural duties that we owe to one another. One of the most pithy and eloquent expressions of the idea in the modern period, I think, is from Voltaire, who, when asked what political party he belonged to, famously said, "I belong to the party of humanity." It's an important thought to express, and I think philosophy has to do justice to it. But I also think that we live in a world that's, at least for the moment, divided into nation states. Some of them functional, some of them not. Some of them brutal and repressive, some of them liberal and democratic. The nation states that often work because people have a certain allegiance to them, because they manage to elicit patriotism from those who live under them. It's not clear that governments could do their job if people didn't have that kind of allegiance to them. So I think there's an important instrumental value to patriotism, at least in the world as we know it. So on the one hand, I'm quite sympathetic to cosmopolitanism, to the assertion that there are universal rights, universal values, that everybody's human, and that there are some things you can't do to anybody in virtue of their humanity, regardless of which more particular community they belong to or what gender they are. Nonetheless, I think that, at least in the current state of things, patriotism has a role to play, and that its value is at least instrumental in helping governments function as they do.